Hi, MrsBizz here, and today we're going to talk about having twins in a small town. Do you like the Twinsy nursing pillow? I just got it. It's quite wonderful, and it's actually quite comfortable. So, excited to see if it'll actually work. So like I mentioned on my last video, I had a doctor's appointment, and as you probably have caught on, I do live in a small town in Canada. Having twins is already different enough from a singleton pregnancy, but what is different so far for me that I'm in a small town? Well, I finally got to get some of those answers the other day at my doctor's office. So there was actually a little bit of a crazy whirlwind of information. I need to go for my gestational diabetes test next month, and normally you do a 1-hour test. This is to check if you're getting gestational diabetes, which is like diabetes just while you're pregnant. I don't get to do the 1-hour test. I have to do the longer diagnostic test because I'm more likely to have it or get it. So I just get to skip the easy test and do the hard one. Great. I also need to go for yet another ultrasound 4 weeks after my last one. And then I have to do that gestational diabetes test, which also has some blood work in it. And then I'm going to have another doctor's appointment. Now, at that other doctor's appointment, that's where things start to get interesting. I was actually told that I would need to come to them with the name of a doctor from the city that I would like to be referred to. This is because in my small town, the clinic really only will look after you in your pregnancy if you're a very low risk. Now, having multiples of any amount is considered higher risk. I am pregnant with like the safest possible version of twins, but it's a multiple birth, still considered high risk. I didn't really realize I was going to have those options. I kind of figured that I would get referred somewhere. I knew that I wasn't, they didn't want me delivering in town here. I understood that, but I kind of just thought that they'd refer me to a doctor they always refer multiples to in the city or something, but apparently not. So I have been researching doctors as well as hospitals in Edmonton, because the doctor that I choose will actually designate which hospital I deliver at. So it's kind of weird and super interesting because I see other mothers, especially from the States, talk about picking an OB and all that stuff. And I never had any of those options because in a small town like my own, you just go to the clinic, they have the OB clinic, they rotate through doctors. You don't get to pick anything. That's just where you go. It's the only option. So then I find out that my next appointment will be in town, and that's when they'll send out the referral. The appointment after that one will actually be in the city with this new doctor. Then this new doctor that will have just seen my file and seen me once is going to be the decider on how often my appointments are and where I need to go for my appointments. Keep in mind that I will need to drive hours and hours in order to see this doctor and go to these appointments. So I'm really hoping they allow my small town to do some of the care so I don't have to go there every single time. Now, what is exciting though is once I actually get that referral and I go for that appointment, I'll be able to find out a lot more about what the actual plan is. Right now, we're just kind of going off a hearsay because the doctors in my town obviously don't deliver multiples, definitely not delivering hours and hours away. So there's a lot of questions specific to the hospital or the doctor that I'd like to know, especially revolving around the fact that I know they don't want me to deliver in town, so I'll need to be induced, but I'd love a better timeline of that, and I'd just like to know a lot more about how that is all going to happen. If you haven't noticed, I am wearing pajama pants, and I don't care that I'm wearing pajama pants making this video, because these pajama pants are very comfortable. They're from Livy and Rose, and they have champagne bottles on it. I miss wine. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of a crazy whirlwind where now I'm just kind of stuck waiting for these appointments to happen. I'm hoping that everything goes well with the gestational diabetes test and the blood test and of course the extra ultrasound. The ultrasounds I'm actually going to have to keep going for just because that's how they check how the babies are growing. Normally, I guess they kind of measure your belly, but when there's two babies in there, the size of your belly doesn't tell them how big both babies are, right? Like one versus the other. So I think I think that's everything. I'm going to have to be referred to another doctor that I need to choose, which also designates what hospital I'll be delivering at. The doctor I'm getting referred to is hours and hours away, and I may have to go to appointments like every other week. Once we get closer, it could be every week, like it could be a lot of appointments. Plus, once I see this doctor, then I'll get to find out a lot more about what actually is going to go down, and that makes me happy. Yay! So I guess that's my short little week 21 update. I'm still feeling the exact same as I was last week. These babies have been kicking up a storm. My husband was actually able to feel them kick. So that was super, super cool that he finally felt it, because I am feeling it all the time. Seriously, I woke up this morning and I was like, what are you guys doing in there? Settle down. It's morning. Oh, and another thing is apparently I'm having Braxton Hicks. Braxton Hicks are contractions that aren't actually going to put me into labor, but they do tire my belly out, which is what makes it sore, and just make it feel real funny. So I guess the doctor had a whole big spiel to me about how to tell, because I had no idea. It was like, my belly's sore sometimes. And she like feels my belly. She's like, you're having Braxton Hicks. You're actually having them right now. And I was like, what? So she kind of showed me how to tell about that, and she kind of explained what contractions are, and if they get painful, I need to make sure that I go into the hospital right away because they're so afraid of preterm delivery. But so far, it is just Braxton Hicks, and those are really not that worrisome. It's just my body kind of doing some, practice stretches. So hopefully that goes all right, and hopefully it actually dies down a little bit because it makes my belly really sore. And I think that's all. I'm really enjoying this Sunday morning coffee. If you have any questions, let me know, but not a whole lot new with me, just going to, all that going on. Oh, and I guess I'll show you my belly. Probably kind of hard to see my belly right now because the window it's too early in the morning to get good lighting right now, so I can see my camera going super dark right now. But there is a belly shot. I feel like I am actually growing every single day. Every day. Bye.